I'll let the chat know who to blame. Hello, chat. So the reason we're a little bit late today is we were looking for our banner that we've had here so elegantly at the bottom of our screen, but it's not here, and I don't know where it is. So somebody, not us, has misplaced our banner. So no, LJD, LD, man, or L host,
man.
L Claire, L Dave, L everyone but us.
L management.
Maybe some hater just deleted it.
Yeah. All right.
They don't want us to succeed, man.
Max, they see the new show popping off. They're like, hold up.
They don't want us to make it to season 2.
Facts.
Hey, look, y'all already know. Y'all already know what it is. You are tapped in with From the Logo. We from the logo with it. PC's best kept secret or so I've been told, and I actually like that because we are. Ladies and gentlemen, if you saw the topic or at least the title of the show, you know that we're going to be talking about Joel Embiid and the Philadelphia 76ers as our main topic of the day. We have other topics as well, little filler ones, including how confident are you in the Boston Celtics? Are the Kings cooked? Does Luka deserve MVP? I don't know if y'all noticed, but he's moved up in the rankings ahead of SGA this week. That's interesting. We'll see how that plays out. And the Mavs have been rolling as well. We talked about them a couple episodes ago. We'll talk about them again a little bit in this show. But to start off, let's just start with something light. Chat, you can tap into this as well. Did anybody watch Caitlin Clark versus Angel?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That was the main event. That was the main event.
That was the main
Absolutely
event. Friday, we got another banger. Paige versus Caitlin. That's going to be more interesting than Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark because at least Paige and Caitlin are going to probably end up guarding each other. So I want to get y'all's thoughts on last night. Iowa advanced into the Final Four. Thoughts on the performance? Caitlin Clark might be the greatest women's hooper of all time, but I'm going to hand it to Gifted. Go ahead.
I'm happy that the sport for basketball on the women's side is really taking off because I've said for years, like I actually sat down and watched them play and I'm like, oh, this is good basketball, right? Mm-hmm. But then I feel like for a lot of people, because it has been the norm, they've been slow to like fully, embrace it. The way I knew that the sport is growing exponentially is when I went on Twitter seeing the slander posts that were just like slander posts you would see for NBA basketball, right? Where it had nothing to do with the game. They were calling Haley Van Lith a Linktree demon. It was a lot going on, right? So seeing those types of comments, I'm like, yo, this is bad, but it's good bad because that's how it is in the NBA where it's nothing about the game. It's about everything but the game, right? Like that's what people love to do. So seeing that translate over to that was really fire to me. Also, it feels like a moment you had to be there for because a lot of people were talking about these games way before. They were like, we're not watching any NBA tonight. No football, whatever sport event y'all think matters, it doesn't because this is on. So right. I watched it. Fun game. Caitlin Clark really is different, man. I'm sorry. She started off slow and then started hitting every snatch back three off the bounce, just completely taking the souls of LSU, which last year embarrassed them, right? Mm-hmm. And won. So seeing them get back in the rematch was very, very fun. Seeing no adjustments from the LSU coach on how to guard Caitlin Clark was also very fun to watch. And seeing people upset at the lack of adjustments just seeing the level of care and how much it felt like the culture was really behind this game was very dope to see for me. So I like that.
Volunteers, Dub, Jalen.
Oh, my bad. Oh, you're talking about Caitlin, right?
Yeah.
My bad. I was reading something. Caitlin Clark. We talked about it on the panel today. Like I said, this is like she's on a historic run right now, similar to what MJ and Magic has done for the NBA. Hopefully, she can do that for the WNBA, right? Marquee figure that's putting a bunch of names out there due to her and her name, and other people and other women are getting recognized because of her, and people actually looking more into this sport. Anything in what you do in life and any type of business, you're always going to need that one person or couple things that you do that jumpstarts everything. and hopefully the Caitlin Clark emergence is something that's going to jumpstart the WNBA to where more and more people will be invested in that product.
Yep.
And, they're going to sit here and be impressed, and the WNBA will finally start to emerge as a household name. Like I said this on my podcast before, like the WNBA needs to be patient a bit because, it took 30 years for the NBA to really start gaining a lot of traction. I mean, of course, they had leagues and championships, but it wasn't that successful of a league until the 80s. So this time period with the WNBA, it's kind of matching up in terms of this is like the 30 to 35 year mark for the WNBA. And now you're picking up traction because, it just happens. Yeah. I think that's how a lot of things work. It happened with the NBA, and now we're going to really see where this is going to go. And I'm very happy about this. What a GQ horoscope? What is everyone talking about?
I don't know about that, but look, I mean, I think you got most of it. I do disagree with one of the things that I'll touch on a little bit, but with Caitlin Clark, what she did, like you said, she could definitely do for the NBA what Michael Jordan did for the NBA, really take to the next level. She is the preeminent face of female sports in America right now.
I don't think it's just female sports either. I'm seeing people like really put her out there like, wow. Like, I mean, that's fine. She's the athlete right now for a lot of people.
I mean, I would say there's still some popular athletes in America, but I think for sure. I think she's probably one of the top 5, top 10 most popular athletes in America right now for sure, which as a female basketball player, you can't say. But I think ever since Serena Williams retired, I think kind of the face of women's sports in America has been kind of open for the taking. And I think she's definitely kind of taken it by the horns there. So credit. And I think the performance yesterday, I think what people have to realize is not only was that a great NCAA, tournament performance, get to the Final Four. That was a game where if that game went bad, like what Gifted was saying, the haters were ready to pounce. This is why women's basketball isn't it. If she went out and shot 5 for 20, had a bad game, this is why, it would have been over for it would have been a lot of attacks on women's basketball, women's sports, things of that nature. So for her to perform,
really?
Yes, no, come say because the hype for this game, I've never seen a women's basketball game this hype before in my life. Not a WNBA finals game, not any right. Like, this was the game where it had national attention, even up here in Canada too, where people were watching. And for her to perform in a game, like I said, was in some ways make or break for the WNBA too, in the sense that like she has catapulted herself to be the face of the WNBA. Once she's drafted, she is going to the face. Some people might not like it, but she is going to be pushed. She's going to have her Nike commercials. She's going to be all over. She's going to be pushed for that for sure. So Caitlin Clark, the real deal. I will say Reese, Angel Reese, great player too. Even though she fouled out, tough call. I thought the girl was moving. Shouldn't have been a foul on her. She played great. Shout out to LSU, great team. But look, with UConn, Paige, people forget Paige coming out of college was the
Paige was the first one.
Yeah, she was the first one. She was
the first one. Yeah,
she got hurt, and you know what I mean. So look, we want to talk like basketball. I'm not mad at people that Paige might be better than Kate.
Paige is like that. Yeah,
really is like that.
I'm really glad that you brought that up, Jalen, because I was gonna say the same thing, bro. Like Paige for me was the first woman.
Paige was the first one. Yeah,
and I was like, yo, and I was my boy. I was just talking to my boy last night. My boy Amir. We was on the phone right after the game. He was like, "You see the game?" I was like, "Yeah, bro." Now it's about to be Paige versus Caitlin. And he was like, "Yeah, you remember?" Because when me and Amir were like freshmen, sophomore in college, we would watch Paige's like high school mixtapes and be like, "Yo, this girl is cold. This girl is cold, right?" So now she ends up in UConn. And UConn is a college where they're used to tournament, success.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's been stretched out for the last 15 years or so. The only time that I think they're 15 and 6, they've made the tournament 15 times in the last 16 years. And the one time that they didn't make it was when Paige got hurt, tore ACL or whatever. So it's a testament to how good Paige is for the fact that she could come back. And I was talking to him about this last night. I was like, think about like ACL tears in basketball in general, right? When we think about ACLs, Achilles, whatever, right? Kevin Durant's first person that comes to mind. Came back from his Achilles injury, averaging 30, right? Klay Thompson had 2 of the worst injuries you could possibly have as a basketball player. Came back and dropped 300 threes in a season, is most of his career, right? Had his best shooting year from 3 of his career off of injuries like that. Paige goes out there, averaging 28, 10, 6 assists, whatever the case may be. But for a women's hooper coming off of injuries like that, you don't have to deal with the athleticism taking a hit or anything. You're pulling mid ranges, shooting threes, all of her moves to be able to still hit them at an elite level and to go out there and perform. It's just marvelous. It is just marvelous. And I will say as well. Go ahead, Jalen.
No, I just want to say too. I know a lot of people are saying Caitlin maybe the greatest college basketball player ever. Mm-hmm. Shout out to other great. I think she's great. I mean, Candace Parker existed, Maya Moore existed, Lisa Leslie. Like there's a lot of women who really hoop like that. So obviously she's exactly. Cheryl Miller, even though she didn't get to play at the next level because of her time, there wasn't that thing. But Caitlin Clark, I understand she's definitely the it girl right now. I just want to say this to the WNBA too. You have to push her. And there's a lot of pushback. A lot of people, girls in the WNBA, were already looking at her sideways like she's been given too much too early. We heard the comments from former players like, she's been given too much. You guys got to let her rock. Let her be the face. Push her. Let the game grow. Because in the end, if you push her, everyone's going to win. People might you definitely said some jealousy coming on. I'm hearing the interviews from other players.
That's always going to happen.
See it. Yeah, but you don't really see that in the NBA. You don't see guys, you know what I mean? You don't really see that. But it's some real like, hey, why is this girl getting pushed? Also, hold up. The racial dynamics come into play too in terms of that. Why is this America's little white girl getting pushed versus us? There's a lot of that going. I'm telling you, the conversation needs to be
that will happen. I think that will happen.
That will happen. Yeah,
that will for sure happen. Yeah. But let's not forget, MJ was getting hated on when he was coming up. Magic and Bird faced their criticism. The thing is, they had success early, so you can't criticize people that much when they're winning at an early age, right? But MJ for sure was getting the burner, especially with like Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell, and everything. Hold up, somebody's calling me. But yeah, like Caitlin Clark is just gonna face backlash, similar to how every NBA superstar has faced backlash.
Her seems different though. Her seems a little different though. I get it. Like when LeBron first came in, his teammates were like, "Oh, it wasn't that good." Jordan thing, 100%. Yeah. Caitlin's hate seems a little different. It's a little more to it.
That's the thing. It comes with the territory because I said this too last night on the phone with Amir. I was like, "Yo, if you really think," like I look at the comment section after the game, right, on Bleacher Report, whoever posted about it, right, and I'm looking at the comment section, and the discourse is like, it is so crazy to me how 2 years ago, you go on any page on social media that's talking about women's hoops, the comment section was the most disrespectful that it could possibly be.
Make me a sandwich.
You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody watching this. Y'all bored today. Like, ain't nothing to post, whatever. Now, you look at those comment sections and you see commenters naming other players outside of Caitlin Clark that are doing well in the tournament. That's where I'm looking at it with Gifted was alluding to earlier.
Yeah.
Culture, right? The culture of basketball and what these women are doing, it is insanity to see the whole 180 that we've seen in the last couple of years. And a lot of that you can point to Caitlin because of her revolutionizing women's shooters, the way that I see it. She's the greatest shooter woman that I've ever seen, like women hooper I've ever seen.
Steph versus Caitlin next year?
Steph versus Steph and
she
Clay
might be in it next year. That's
Caitlin
possible.
And Sabrina. Steph and Clay versus Caitlin and Sabrina. I'll take that for All-Star weekend. You know what I'm saying? But like
LeBron was a real one, he'd do it, but I know he won't do it. I know LeBron won't do it.
LeBron wouldn't even do the dunk contest for 21 years.
He won't do it.
Yeah, he ain't. Yeah. But let's move on. Great matchup we saw last night between two very good teams. On Friday, you will see UConn versus Iowa. And hey, look, it's gonna be a battle. Paige versus Caitlin. It'll be fun. It's gonna be fun. So let's transition away from that, from the WNBA and college, whatever. Let's transition into the league. All right. Now, before we're gonna work our way slowly into Hayes is in the building. We're gonna work perfect timing. We're talking NBA now. We're gonna work our way into talking about Philly, but we're gonna start on the West Coast a little bit. Let's tap in. The Dallas Mavericks. I don't know if y'all been paying attention, but the Dallas Mavericks have been rolling. All right, and we're gonna talk about it for a little bit here. They are, I believe, 9-1 in their last 10. Luka Doncic has been doing incredible things, and like I told y'all at the start of the show, Luka has now surpassed SGA in NBA.com's MVP ladder, basketball reference MVP ladder, all of that, right? So Luka Doncic, do y'all think that Luka has a better case at winning the MVP award now, with the Mavericks being the 5th seed in the Western Conference? Because I remember us talking, and we were talking about how seeding and stuff like that matters. A few weeks ago, I told y'all, hey, look, you can't be the MVP of the league when the second best man is Kyrie Irving and you're in the play-in spot. Now they're up to the 5th seed. That's all he needed right there, for real. So I'm going to ask y'all, Are y'all in favor of SGA? Are y'all still in favor of Nikola Jokic? Or do y'all think Luka might have a legitimate shot this year to just come through and steal the whole damn thing?
Yeah, I've come to a revelation about who's going to win. And theirs is Jokic. And the reason why I say Jokic now more than ever is because now I think Luka and Shea are going to take votes away from each other. And I think most voters, if you have either Luka or Shea 1, you're going to probably have Jokic as your 2. And I feel like Luka, the only thing that was hurting him the entire season for me was really team success. Because in terms of play, I mean, this is his best season. He's shooting his most efficient from 3. He's averaging great numbers. He's been excellent in the clutch with Kyrie. They just haven't won, right? So the whole point of him not being like firmly in the race is because they didn't have enough team success. But now that they've gone on this phenomenal win streak and they're 5, if he's able to get the 4 seed even, that changes the pulse of the entire conversation. I like Luka. I think this season he's done some very great things. And right now, the stretch that he's on to close the season is insane. I mean, the dude almost had 70 points again versus Houston if he played more. Like, they just dominated them, right? So I think these next couple of games in terms of how the season ends is going to really mean a lot to voters. But to be honest, I think this surge is going to hurt Shea. But Shea and Luka are going to go head to head. And I think Jokic is going to be the one who winds up getting more overall votes than those two, I would say.
Gotcha. Like I said earlier, Luka Doncic to me has been MVP. I think Luka Doncic and what he's been able to do with a roster that has been changing all year round, with a roster that's been hurt. Some players hurt here, some players hurt there. He's been the main consistent thing all year round. And now they're the 5th seed. They're 1 game behind the 4 seed. All the needs is somebody to put that narrative out there of Luka Doncic. There's not anybody right now that's more important to his team right now than Luka Doncic and what he has been for the whole entire year. And the fact that they have a possibility of reaching the 4 seed is just going to sit here and add value to that. So me personally, it probably will be Jokic because people are so infatuated with him. But Luka Doncic should win. The seeding is just a little extra icing on the cake for me. But to me, nobody has been as important to their crew than Luka Doncic or Joel Embiid, but Joel's been hurt, so it is what it is.
Luka Doncic is the best player in the league. Who's the genius that said he should be MVP before the season starts? This guy. Who said he's the best player in the league before the season starts? This guy. And if we really want to talk about how good Luka Doncic is, there's only 3 players in the NBA history who have peaked higher than Luka Doncic. It's LeBron, Michael Jordan, and Shaq. Luka Doncic has peaked higher than Kobe Bryant. He's peaked higher than Steph. He's peaked higher than Larry, Magic, Hakeem, Duncan. That is who Luka Doncic is. We got to really understand what we're watching here now. Luka Doncic has the 4th highest peak in NBA history. We got to start acknowledging it. We got to start talking about it. This is historic levels of play. We have not seen this for other than 3 guys. It's ridiculous. And the audacity for people to even compare guys like Anthony Edwards, Jason Tatum.
That's nasty.
Doncic. Like, what are we doing?
Okay, look. The Tatum thing is something
not a conversation.
They've only done that because when you think about people talking about superstars in the league and how I've heard people say there's only 6 superstars. I've heard Jason Tatum say there's 12 superstars. I've heard this subjective thing when it comes to ranking players. Now, people that have come into the defense of Tatum have made arguments such as things like, well, Luka has been to the conference finals. Tatum's been to the conference finals 3 times. Tatum's been to a finals once. He's 26. They're both young. He's a better defender. He's a better two-way player.
Stupid. So dumb.
Wait, do you think Luka's a better defender than Tatum?
No, I just think it's so dumb to bring up Tatum plays defense like he's anywhere close to him offensively as a player.
I can get with you on that. I can see your point of view.
Oh, he plays defense. Oh,
now. But the thing that I've noticed people say is, I heard somebody say, if Jason Tatum isn't a superstar, then Luka Doncic isn't a superstar. I think they're both superstars personally, but it is what it is. I think Tatum.
One of these things is not like the other.
Look. All I'm saying is Tatum. This is the year where I think Tatum is going to shut a lot of I can't cuss because I'm the host. A lot of MFers. This is the year where he's gonna shut a lot of MFers up because think about the slander that Jason Tatum has received within the last few years, just because he hasn't won the big one yet. When you look at this man's resume, top 7 in MVP voting a couple times, All NBA first team 2 years in a row, gonna be 3 this year. Like, bro, Tatum. This is the proof. The proof is in the pudding. He's basically got a wide open shot to silence a lot of doubters this postseason. So only time will tell. Only time will tell. But hey, I'm gonna get your take on this, bro.
Should Luka be the MVP? Is that the question we're answering ourselves here?
That's the question.
I mean, I get it. This stretch has absolutely pushed them, and I think that if the season were to end right now with the streak that they've been on, but to me, the streak's been great, and I don't know if it's just because I love Shea, but I can make the conversation for Shea Gilgeous-Alexander to be the MVP this year. It's been one of the most consistent players. Has turned himself into a solid enough defender, and I think that there's still tremendous upside for him as a defender as his teammates get better and he realizes he doesn't have to do necessarily as much offensively. But I can't be mad at Luka Doncic winning the MVP this year. At some point, I just want people to put some more respect on Shea's name. That's all I got to say.
I feel it.
That's fair.
I feel it.
I just I'm sorry, ZZ, but it's like all of the things that you're like, oh, Tatum, he's been top 7 in MVP twice. He's played defense. Like, I just find it funny because with all these players we named, they're all better than Tatum considerably. Shea, Luka, Giannis, Jokic. Yeah.
See, here's my thing. I'm not even going to waste my time on the defending part of that, but I think that there are players in that mix that you probably jumped the gun on, like in SGA, who we've seen a couple of, playoff performances from SGA, but not as much as Jason Tatum, who's never missed the playoffs in his career. So you can attribute that to, oh, look at his team. Okay, he's still the best player on the best team in the league by a mile. So when you have that on top of all of the accomplishments that he has so far, and you sit back and say, what is he missing? The only thing that I can say he's missing is a championship and an MVP. And if he gets one of the two of those things, that silences a lot of the doubters. That's all I'm saying. Now, I agree with you on the part of, I can feel you on the whole Jason Tatum's defense doesn't amount to Luka's offense. I feel you on that 100%. Would never disrespect my precious Slovenian king, Luka Doncic. Or
my precious is crazy.
But at the same time, I just feel like this is the best chance that Tatum has to prove if he is a superstar or a tier below it or whatever the hell people are trying to make him seem. That's all I'm saying. This is the playoff run to do it.
I mean, I wouldn't be the guy to be like, oh yeah, Tatum's only been good because he's on a good team. I wouldn't do that. I think Tatum's actually a very good player. I just think when you mentioned him in superstar talks, I feel like if you think Tatum is a superstar, I feel like the word superstar must be very wide for you because there's a ton of players in the Tatum pool that are close. And to me, I mainly just say, okay, how do you play basketball? What is your decision making? Okay, sure, he's the best player on the best team. How many times this season have we seen him have subpar performances versus the best of the best? How about the both primetime games we saw versus the Denver Nuggets, who most people feel like that's going to be a, NBA Finals preview, where Jokic is the best player on that team. And we know how much of a gap it is between Jokic and Tatum. I feel like Tatum has had a lot of success early, and because of that, people feel like they have to crown him because he's had so much success. But even if they go on and they win, I still don't feel like that's going to make me think, oh, he won, so that makes him better than X or Y player. For me, it's all about the performance of what Tatum is able to do consistently, because that same player was going down 3-0 to the Miami Heat, where Jimmy Butler looked like the better player. I mean,
that's another thing too. Jimmy's another one of those players where it's it's tricky for me because let me just throw it to y'all. Is Jimmy Butler a superstar to y'all?
No, he's a star, not a superstar.
Yeah, I think he's a star too.
Dub?
Hey, said.
Dub, this is the best player on your favorite team. Is he a superstar or is he just a star?
I have a broad definition of a superstar.
Okay.
So I think James Harden is still a superstar. So
honestly, I appreciate it.
I do agree with that though too. The legacy superstar thing. There are guys who like Westbrook.
It's kind of hard,
but
yeah, it's kind of hard to lose your superstardom because I account for marketability. Like people pay attention to James Harden, what he does so much, not because he's that good anymore, it's because of who he is. So that's why, I still consider a lot of those guys superstars to me. But if you are of the value of like your performance is what determines you as a superstar and that solely, JT's not in that conversation. I think Shea definitely has more of an argument. JT, I mean, at the end of the day, we just got to keep a spade a spade. Do we like the criticism of, are we going to negate you for being on a good team? I don't think none of us really like it, but that's just a fact. If somebody tells me, well, JT's always made the postseason, well, guess what? He's always been on a good team. How are we going to sit here and use that as a point for him being a superstar when he was only the best player of his team for the last 3-4 years now? Like, come on, bro. Like, let's not do those blanket statements like that, because then you're going to get a blanket remark. Like,
let me ask y'all this question. Did Jason Tatum have the best Game 7 performance in NBA history?
No.
Oh my God.
Or did he score the most points in a Game 7 in NBA history?
I mean, he scored the most points.
I mean,
what about the games
this is a guy. We can talk about the game.
Exactly. We can talk Game 6. You
can talk about Game 6. The first 3 quarters, he was 1 for 11. The fourth quarter, 16 points, and in a game where everybody thought Philly was going to win, walking into the fourth quarter, Jason Tatum said, "Hold my damn beer, Deuce."
I'm not gonna lie, Hayes. I'm gonna sound like a hater. But I swear to God, that fourth quarter was more Philadelphia did not want to win that game.
You know what, Gifted?
And I promise you, Tatum was like, I guess I'll hit a couple threes.
I think the thing with Tatum is like Tatum's in his 7th year in the league. We're talking about almost a decade, and we're still having these conversations for people who, to me, are just flat out superstars. They end after season 5.
They don't happen.
We're still having this almost a decade into his career. So it's important. I think that's an important part of this as well. Like, at what point, he's only 26 years old. I get it. He came into the league super young, and he still has room to grow. I'm not saying that he's done evolving as a player, but it's like at some point it got to be the show. And I still think we give Tatum a lot of leeway because there is still so much potential with him, and he's still on such a good team. But at some point, you have to be be the reason why your team wins the series.
Okay, I see what you're saying. I see that point.
And that's where I'm coming at with the Tatum.
And I can name plenty of reasons on why Philly lost that series to Gifted's point.
Like, you can point to James Harden, you can point to Doc Rivers, you can point to Joel Embiid. But listen, I said going into that series, that big three is a recipe for disaster. I don't give a damn. You got Doc Rivers, James Harden, and Joel Embiid in a 7-game series. And then they fumbled the bag, and everybody.
Why is the disrespect to Joel though?
He kind of deserves it, but I get it because he was hurt, so it's like but he does deserve criticism though.
He does deserve some criticism. Bro just turned 30 this month and still has not been to a conference finals. But would you call Joel Embiid a superstar because he got that MVP?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So
Joel, even with play, that man's a bona fide superstar. There's no debate about that. And it sickens me. I'm not even gonna lie. It sickens me how a man that constantly is going through pains outside of basketball, and people use that to diminish him and who he is as a player, never makes sense to me. These are the same people that understand for D Rose why he couldn't live up to his expectations and gives him tons and tons and tons and tons of love, despite him still playing and not being anywhere close to that level after those injuries. So why is it when Joel Embiid is battling in postseasons and being hurt and even elevating his game defensively that he's then been doing for the last 3 seasons now, why is it that he's getting overly criticized so much when he's doing the very thing that people want NBA players to do? Push through the grind, push through the game, sit here and elevate. You feel me? It don't make no freaking sense to me. Why are we cooking somebody who's trying to push through the pain?
And I'm not saying I agree with this, right? Agreements and understanding are different, but part of that is because like the comparison you brought with Derrick Rose is because people can always rely on the what if, right? You see it with Embiid. So since you see it, it gives you more to try to pick apart in Joel Embiid's game. And it's crazy.
It's disgusting. Yeah. It's not crazy. It is disgusting what they do to that man. Because I would think in this world that we're not going to just sit here and shit on people. Yeah, I don't care. Shit on people for them and their bodies being hurt. When in what world scenario do we do that to people? Outside of basketball, outside of sports in general. Yo, Hayes, if you can't do a good job because your arm is broken, am I gonna sit here and cook you for that?
You probably would.
No,
you probably would.
Hey, come on, Dub, it's you.
Probably would do that, Dub.
That's
you probably would do that.
Look at this one arm bastard over here podcasting.
Yeah. Nah. That's not me, man. That's not me.
I'm just messing with you. But hey, wait.
I will say this though.
Did anybody else skip past the fact that Gifted is dressed like a youth pastor right now? Did nobody else?
He turned 25. He's ready to be the pastor. Yes, sir.
He got that up and whatnot.
He got that experience.
No, he clean, boy. I just had to mess with you, bro.
Looking like Eddie Long.
I'm gonna say something that's gonna ruffle people's feathers.
Hopefully he ain't Diddy's pastor.
Yo,
y'all don't know about Eddie Long if y'all don't know what I just said. That was crazy.
I'm not gonna lie. The Eddie Long one was crazy. That was crazy.
Putting me in Diddy conversations is almost racist, but we're gonna move past that. What I hate about Joel Embiid though is every single postseason he gets some type of injury in the first round that impacts how he comes back for the rest of the playoffs. And it always takes place in the second round. He's always due for 1 or 2 games where he looks like a superstar. And then when he's not taking shots, when he's not showing effort in other spots, when he's turning the ball over, now he's hurt. I agree that he's hurt. I do. But what I also can't forget is in the Nets series, before he got hurt, how subpar he was playing versus the Brooklyn Nets.
That's true.
Now they beat him, right?
Whoa.
They smashed him out. Like I give him a lot of respect for that. I saw that flash. That was a crazy flash. I don't deserve that in any way, shape, or form. Dub. I know that was Dub that did that shit, by the way.
My hands was,
I know that
there's
was
no
Dub.
way. My hands was right here.
I don't believe it.
Literally
I
right
actually
here.
don't believe it, though.
There's no way.
I actually don't believe it.
But I didn't do that. Actually,
okay.
Wasn't me.
Okay. Okay. But like my thing with the superstar thing, though, right, is when you go back to Jason Tatum again, Joel Embiid's peak as a player, how close is Jason Tatum to that realistically? If you feel like just off performance, if you think Joel Embiid is a superstar and you think Tatum is a superstar, do you know like how big the gap is between that level of productivity? And then I remember this too, right? When people were trying to argue for Tatum being a superstar over Luka, they were saying, oh, it's defense. He plays 2 ways. Look at how far he's gone with his team and all this and all that. But he's never once played to the caliber of Luka in a regular season. And I can honestly say this too. He's never performed like Luka performs in the playoffs either. So to me, when I'm really looking at these guys and I'm saying, okay, who is a star? Who is a superstar? It's your level of play for a regular season, but it's also your performance in the postseason. The thing with Joel Embiid is the injury caveat. I got to respect it. It's fair. And I think he's peaked too high in the regular season to not be labeled a superstar. But if the argument for Shea is, oh, Shea's just too young, I mean, cool. But is he better than Tatum or not this season? Yes. Has he not had like 50, 30-point games this season? Has his decision-making down the stretch not been better? When you go zone by zone efficiency, he's better than Tatum. Like I don't know why I have to see more years of this to know he's a better basketball player than Jason Tatum, or have to see a postseason run to say that. Because Jason Tatum is playing in the Eastern Conference on the best team in the league. He's a part of that. I'm not saying he's not. But are we surprised that Boston going to the finals? Do we think Jason Tatum has to perform like Luka Doncic for that team to make the finals? No.
Right, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
he doesn't have to.
That's what you're saying. And that's the thing too with what it comes down to. That's why I said this year is really important for Boston, and it's really important for Tatum, because the way I see it, like all of the narratives and the cons of evaluating a player like Jason Tatum, he has an opportunity to erase that. This is a guy last year that was coming off of a regular season. I know you said, Joel Embiid, his peak, and Jason Tatum's, but Joel Embiid's peak is regular season play only.
100%.
Nothing in the postseason that Joel Embiid has done that Jason Tatum either hasn't done or will not do. At the end of the day, Jason Tatum, to me, when I look at their postseasons, off the top of my head, I know Tatum has had more great performances in the postseason than Joel Embiid. But we are going to injury tax Joel because he was hurt, like Dub said. And to Dub's point, I agree with you 100% because you remember in 2021 in the first round, the Lakers and the Suns, Anthony Davis, right? The media, Skip Bayless, I remember Skip, Stephen A, all them boys talking about well, if he's hurt, if he's hurt, he shouldn't be able to play. But if he can play, if he's hurt and he can play, then let him play. He should play. AD goes out there and gets hurt worse, right? Now he's out for the whole round. Kevin Durant in 2019 against the Raptors, against Jalen's Raptors. Oh, they need Kevin. Kevin, you got to step up. Yada, yada, yada. He goes out there 11 minutes into the game and tears his Achilles. Joel Embiid was playing on piece. Like some of the injuries that Joel Embiid has had, I didn't even know you could have. Torn PCL.
I agree.
Like, bro, what? Fractured orbital bone a couple seasons ago. Like, just the most random things. This bro will get hurt. It could be an MCL, PCL, LCL. It don't matter. Whatever got a CL in his body, he gonna injure it. That's how it is. So, to me, when I look at that and I think, okay, this season, now this is a perfect way for us to transition into the title of the show for a little bit. But this season, I'm gonna get back to y'all. Joel Embiid has been out since January, I want to say. When he was there, he had gotten the Philadelphia 76ers up to, I believe, the 2nd or 3rd seed in the Eastern Conference. Now they sit as an 8th seeded team. Now, a couple weeks ago, you heard Kendrick Perkins and the boys talking about, hey, look, if they want to rest them and bring them back like right before postseason time, that's the best thing to do. Or sit them out the rest of the season and get them ready to go for playoff time. When you look at this Philly team, though, 8th seed, probably going to be in the play-in tournament, maybe. At least that's how it's looking. Can Joel Embiid save the Philadelphia 76ers this year? Do y'all think so?
From what?
Yeah, what do we consider saving?
Because, look, if they end up in the play-in, right, single elimination, all of that, it's a whole different ball game, right? So it's down to those pivotal, winner-go-home games. Not a 7-game series, but if they were to make it out of the play-in and then they end up facing up against the Boston Celtics, right? Like, do you think if Joel Embiid comes back going into the postseason, do you think that will be enough to get Philly out of the first round? Let's just keep that.
Fuck no. Absolutely not. Versus the Boston Celtics, no shot in hell. Respectfully. I mean, I know how good Joel Embiid is, but this man Tobias Harris's off-ball defense has cost him so many games without Joel Embiid. Tyrese Maxey as their two, like that team wouldn't be enough at all to beat Boston. Now Milwaukee's interesting. I don't care. Milwaukee has not looked like a great team. Their defense is also very questionable. Who is the matchup in that series for Joel Embiid? It's not going to be Giannis. I don't know what happens in that series, even though on paper it's Dame. Like, this might sound crazy, but against Milwaukee's defense, are we so sure that Tyrese Maxey couldn't outperform Dame if he's next to Joel Embiid?
Maxey's maybe next to Joel Embiid. Yeah, he'll give you 26 and
Maybe. Now, obviously, the issue I have with this conversation and really why I'm mad at the Sixers in general is they're bringing back Joel Embiid, so now we have to have this conversation. Realistically, he's probably not close to being 100% of what he is. So when he goes into playoffs and shits it up again, now it's, he's coming off the injury, so he's not fully healthy. So I don't really have any expectations for this team at all whatsoever. I just hope that Joel can be in the best shape possible and play because I like seeing him play. But in terms of what he's going to do for their season, they're not a championship team. They're probably cooked in the first round, maybe even the play-in.
To me personally, we're talking about if Joel Embiid is there, right?
Yeah.
The fact that Joel Embiid is able to have a team in the Philadelphia Sixers appear to be a title contender when they don't even deserve to be in the playoffs
That's how you know he's the MVP. That's how you know if he was healthy.
Yep.
They're
the MVP.
14 and 27 without Joel Embiid.
That's scream MVP to me, but y'all ain't want him to win it last year, right?
Yes.
Jokic,
and he should not have won it last year, and I'll stand on that. But
he should have won it. He should have won it, and he did, and he would have won it this year because even this year, this is the thing that I hate about how people evaluate a player like a Joel Embiid. In the first month of the season alone, when this man was going out there and putting up more points than minutes, you would have thought that he would have been what's the word I'm looking for? Unanimously viewed as the MVP. But that wasn't even the case because you still have people that look at Joel Embiid and they just hate the dude. And it's insane to me. It's like this man could go out there and average 35 a game in 34 minutes. That still isn't enough for some people because they'll still say, well, Jokic gets his teammates involved more. No, Jokic is a better three-point shooter. Just random shit. Just throwing it.
It's also because of like they're both playing at historic, including Luka too. They're all playing at historic levels, right? So it's just comparing three historic seasons. It's like
comparing three is like trying to compare J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, and Drake. All right, somebody like
Drake clears. Drake is clearing those boys. Come on,
wait.
Music with everybody. Come on, bro.
Hey, man,
you definitely can because that's some bullshit he just said.
Let's be real though. Kendrick the best lyrical rapper, but he don't know what a real melody is. He don't know about hooks.
He don't know what a real melody is.
I don't give a damn about no melody in a battle. Who got the bars?
This man literally just said he's the best rapper, but he can sing a little bit, bro.
Who got the bars, man?
Sure, but that's cute. That's great. Nas got bars too, but he didn't know how to pick a beat. Look what happened to him.
Are you saying Kendrick don't know how to pick a beat?
You said Kendrick don't know how to pick a beat?
No, Nas didn't know how to pick a beat.
No, I know, but you're saying Nas as if Kendrick also doesn't know how to pick a beat.
Kendrick just can't make timeless hit records like Drake. That's all.
What is he? Okay, all right.
Hey,
we're gonna pivot.
That is fair.
Drop it in the comments.
Yeah, Jalen loves individual songs and not bodies of work, but that's fine. I mean, you know, that's
Drake's body of work. I have no bearing.
Let's talk about body of work.
Drake's body of work is crazy.
We can do that.
I'll give you this though. I'll give you Kendrick.
Hold on. Put Take Care.
Yeah, Take Care clears every Kendrick record.
I have to exit myself on any Nas conversation. I did work on Nas's last album. Y'all can check it out. He shouted me out on his Instagram.
Oh, respect. Okay.
Wow. Big respect.
Nas still got the GOAT album to me. Illmatic's still the greatest.
You think so? Okay.
Yeah.
So back to the Embiid thing, right?
No, we want to talk hip hop. Hold on, wait a second. Let's go. No, I'm just playing. Go ahead, Doug.
My ears gonna be bleeding. Please go, Doug. Go ahead.
Nah, so back to the Embiid thing. So him being on this Sixers crew, especially with the way Nick Nurse has been using them, and you know what Gift has said with Maxey playing off of Embiid is something extremely well. Those pull-up jump shots from Maxey off of a DHO is it's wild. It's just a match made in heaven, right? This Sixers crew, and especially with like Buddy Hield in the mix now, you got Kyle Lowry off the bench, you know, Kelly Oubre, you know, he's still a part of the team. Yeah, this is a deep team. This is a great team right here. And if Joel Embiid does come back, this is a team in my eyes, they can be just about anybody. I think they could be anybody in the league. And if Joel Embiid is fully healthy, he probably won't be. But if Joel Embiid is fully healthy, yeah, I'll put some money on the Sixers, bro. Why not?
If he's fully healthy, that does change the conversation. But I don't think anybody's expecting him to be fully healthy. And unfortunately,
does it though?
You need a fully healthy Joel Embiid for this team to win a playoff series.
I mean, that's fair, but does it change where they are? Like, even if it's fully healthy,
for me. I don't think that without fully healthy Joel Embiid, I don't think they'll probably win 2 games in a playoff series.
Okay,
that's what I mean. It's just that I think that they can go from a team that I can think can win a game or two to a team that I legitimately think can win a series depending on the matchup if he's fully healthy. But I'm not saying that they got a championship level ceiling or anything.
Let me ask y'all this, right? Because they're probably gonna be in the 7th or 8th seed, right?
Yeah.
Do you got them beating the Bucks or Celtics with Embiid?
Well, we all know what the answer is.
They're not beating the Celtics.
Not the Celtics, maybe the Bucks. Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't give a damn.
Give me Joel, man.
The Celtics have way more offensive firepower than the Philadelphia 76ers can muster up with a Joel Embiid and maybe Tyrese Maxey.
Hold on. They got Buddy Hield.
Buddy Hield's great, but
Buddy
Hield's great. Don't get me wrong, but
Kelly
compare
Oubre?
that to
He can get hot.
I ain't gonna lie, Kelly.
This man doing Kelly Oubre versus the Boston Celtics
is known as a 3-point shooter, and I think he averages like 32% for his career. He can get hot in stretches, but
that's what it is.
Yes,
but
when
consistent.
When you're comparing that to Jason Tatum, Derek White, Jaylen Brown, Drew Holiday, Kristaps, who honestly I should have mentioned earlier.
I mean, does Joel Embiid get Kristaps in foul trouble? Really pounding him?
Because you got to think too. Let me ask you all this question. Do we think collectively from the logo, right? Do we think Joel Embiid, how healthy, give me a percentage, how healthy will Joel Embiid be come postseason time, do y'all think? Just to ask
72%.
Yeah, I would guess
70.
70. I want to see him over the next 5 games. Just kind of figure
I don't
out.
answer the question, bro.
It's crazy.
Nah, bro. Nah. I can't even believe in that man's health, and I love him.
I can't.
I can't either.
That's like expecting a
say the analogy.
Oh my God.
That's like expecting a thought to be loyal, bro. Like we know it's gonna happen.
Can't turn a thought into a housewife. This is true.
Like
What
we
Chris
know
Brown
it's she could go on a good run. She could go on a good couple months. You feel me? But
she goes
sooner
back
or later.
always.
She's gonna go with some other time, change. You feel me? So nah.
I forgot Boston still has Al Horford yet. They're not beating the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, the
It's not
Embiid
happening.
stuff. That's what you meant to call him. That's his name.
I
Al
mean,
the
yeah.
Embiid
Nah,
stopper.
Al Horford old man.
The way
he ain't still got
way
that.
they
Did the
do
same
it,
shit last year.
For
Same
them
shit
to beat
last
him,
year.
for
I'm
them to
saying
beat
it
him,
until it corrects him. I promise.
Now that's smart.
for the Sixers to beat the Celtics, a lot of things have to go right. Like one, I think Embiid has to be the best player in the series, without a doubt. Tatum has to have a bad shooting series. You know what I mean? He just has to have an off series.
Likely.
Porzingis gets into foul trouble. Maxey has to play like the third best player in the series, probably. He has to play better than the Jaylen Brown, Derek White, Drew Holidays, and all those guys. He's gonna have to play. He's probably gonna give you 25 a night. And then Tobias has a lot of these have to go right. There's a pathway. Again, it's not happening often, but I do see a pathway if things go right. Where anytime you have Joel Embiid on your team, I just don't want to say there's no chance. You know what I mean? Even if there's a 10% chance, I'll rock with it.
Man, I will. There's no chance. They're not beating the Celtics if we be in for real. The shooting that the Celtics have for the Sixers defense is going to be way too crazy. Tobias Harris is a bad off-ball defender. Yeah. You would need Joel Embiid to be at the peak of his powers. And even if that's the case, down the stretch, Boston's execution has been consistently better than what Philadelphia as a roster does. So I don't think there's a chance. Now the Bucks is interesting. The Bucks are interesting to me because their defense is not good. They don't have an elite defense. So with that series, if you have Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid, they can wreak havoc on Boston. Sorry, in Milwaukee. I could legitimately see that being a real series. And I promise you right now, I'm putting my money on Nick Nurse over Doc Rivers as a head coach to make adjustments in the series.
Hey, look,
I like that series. I actually want to see that series. Yeah.
Look, I think that it's important to look at the Boston Celtics because that's what I want to. That's another thing I want to get into is just because we're talking about Philly and who we think Philly can beat. I think that the one team that we think in a series, if it hypothetically were to happen, be more so Philly and Milwaukee than Philly and Boston. Understandable. Now let me ask y'all this: how confident are y'all in the Boston Celtics, right, in their postseason? Because from the way I'm looking at it, they're a game away from 60 wins. They are miles ahead of any other team in terms of the standings, both East and West. So are we confident that the Boston Celtics are a straight shot for the finals this year?
Nope.
Eastern Conference Finals, probably.
Yeah.
I won't say finals for sure.
I don't know if they beat Denver. I've watched their two matchups like 3 times now, and it's like down the stretch, Tatum is pretty much nowhere to be found. They don't go to Porzingis enough at the right spots. For some reason, he posts up from near the 3-point line and then tries to self-create and gets a bunch of contested shots. Denver just gets better shot quality overall more than Boston does, and that's a problem for me. But their defense keeps them in it in the fourth quarter, but the execution just is not there when it matters at the end. So,
right. Why is the camera on me? What is that?
Yeah, but the Celtics to me, have a lot of glaring issues.
Really?
And yeah, I mean, from the talent of the team, yeah, talent-wise, they should be like one of the most complete teams without any issues. But I think their decision making down the stretch gets very, very bad. Jason Tatum as a reliable option, as a one, gets in question as well, especially with his decision making. KP's really a bright spot. Don't really have much to say about him and Derek White as well. But the inconsistent offense of Drew Holiday as well is something to talk about. The bench not being great is something to talk about as well. The Boston Celtics, I think a lot of the times get in their own way. The falling in love with the three-point shot is just something wild to me. But to me personally, is like the Boston Celtics, I'm not going to lie, if they don't come right and come ready, I'm looking at the Knicks, Miami. I'm looking at even the healthy Sixers crew, where they could surprise a lot of people and really like knock them off the standings if they don't come correctly. Boston Celtics and their decision making is something that I've just been paying attention to all year round, and it's not something that I'm really too fond of. I'm not going to hold you.
Mm-hmm.
They definitely have some dud games. There's a lot of games where they don't perform like they need to. Especially recently, they haven't really looked, I think the best over the past few games. So I do think so. Again, when everything's hitting, yes, they're a tough team to beat. But there are just games where, again, Jaylen Brown, how much do we really trust him? Tatum, I still think there's a little bit of question marks there. I mean, even Porzingis in the playoffs, obviously in Dallas, he wasn't used right, but I think it's fair to question what Porzingis will bring in the playoffs too. I don't think he's necessarily been a consistent contributor in his playoffs series.
Fair point. Hayes, what you think?
Like I said, I don't have Boston going to the finals, bro. I have them going to the Eastern Conference Finals. I think they have more than enough. But I think when it comes down to Boston, I gotta see how they're gonna step up in the Eastern Conference Finals. If it depends on who the match is gonna be. Right now, with them and the Knicks would be able to get to the finals together, right? I don't know who's gonna be on what side of the field, but
yeah,
I think there are some matchup troubles heading for Boston in the Eastern Conference. I don't have them just picked as just the de facto favorites to come out the East, personally.
Yeah, I can respect that. I do though, mainly because the level of shooting talent that they have compared to every other team, to me, the reason why that translates more is because of the shot quality they're able to generate. And even if Tatum has a bad game, we've seen it all year long, even when he has a bad game, the amount of other guys that can step up and protect him in those games, and then down the stretch, he can hit those bigger shots. I just think in the Eastern Conference, it's going to be too much to overcome. The only coaches that can pose a threat to Boston really would be the Heat coach, obviously Eric Spoelstra. That team just understands how the Boston Celtics play. They have way too much history with each other, so that's why they would be in the convo to beat Boston. I respect Tom Thibodeau, but I'm not going to lie. This Knicks team in a series with the Celtics, I think it would be interesting, but I think for the full series, I just don't have them beating them. I don't think Tom Thibodeau is a great adjustment coach as much. His defense is phenomenal, and I hear that, but playing these players 47 minutes during the regular season and then trying to do the same thing in the playoffs, I just think that mileage kind of gets up on you more in the postseason. And as good as Brunson has been, I feel like for a full series of having to see Drew Holiday, who is a strong guard, defender, and Derek White, I think it's going to be up for him. And the shooting on that roster is also kind of questionable, especially if we don't know if Randall is back or not. And honestly, even if he is, Randall's not a great postseason performer either. So the Knicks feel iffy to me, but they probably have the best shot in terms of overall team talent with the guy, right? Mm-hmm. We trust, right? I think Dub also trusts Brunson. I could be wrong about that.
I do. That's my guy.
Yeah, I like Brunson.
But they got a lot of players too. They got OGs with some wing defense. And hopefully Mitchell Robinson will be there.
If he stays healthy, yeah.
You feel me? Yeah. Josh Hart there. Dante's been playing great as well for them.
Yes,
lights out season for Dante, yeah.
So I'm looking at I'm not gonna lie, bro. I don't even believe in the Knicks like that. I haven't believed in them in forever.
I hate the Knicks. It pains me to say that the Knicks have actually I hate the Knicks with a passion. I hate them, and it pains me. But I gotta be real. I gotta shoot it straight, man. The Knicks have built a really good team. They just got to get healthy. And the fact that I found out Isaiah Hartenstein's dad's black blew my world, bro. Like, it's crazy.
Bro, on God. Like,
bro, like,
yeah, that was funny.
That's crazy, bro.
There's no type of melanin in his skin at all.
None.
But no, his dip is black, though, bro. Like, technically, Isaiah Hartenstein has more melanin than you do. Somewhere. It's just dormant. The real
crazy.
talk, bro.
It's just dormant. It's just dormant.
He's albino.
They got the weak genes. It's
crazy.
The Knicks, bro, like, this is the thing. Brandon's been commenting. He's been on my nuts all damn show.
That shit is so funny. The Knicks need Randall to be efficient.
Look, man. Have you seen Julius Randle? Look, I'm gonna tell you like this.
I swear, if Julius is just mid, like not if he's just mid, I believe in the Knicks. I'm not gonna hold you. We just need him to be mid.
But you've seen it in a series. You literally saw it last year in a series. He averages 52% true shooting.
Yeah, so when you think about it, if Julius Randle is mid, but Jalen Brunson is playing like Jalen Brunson in the postseason, they got a legit shot. Dante's been cooked. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? In the absence of OG and some guys, OG back into that mix as well is going to be great. When you
Josh Hart's still great.
Josh Hart's going to play 50 minutes. It is what it is. I agree with Gifted on the point of like the way that Tibbs coaches. In the past, we've seen it kind of bite him in the ass come postseason time, i.e. Derrick Rose, April 11, 2012. But whatever. So I have a love-hate relationship.
He's about to cry remembering that.
Literally. I have a love-hate relationship with Tibbs because Tibbs, to me, is, I can see it, great defensive coach. Honestly, one of the best defensive coaches within the last, I would say, 10 to 15 years, right? But the only issue that he has is there are moments in the game where we get down to the nitty-gritty, and one of the coaches is very, very stubborn. It's always Tibbs in terms of making a rotation, in terms of making an adjustment, in terms of like Tibbs is going to play his way or the highway. And you know what I'm saying? If he has a guy like Josh Hart, who Josh Hart has been on record saying, yeah, I'm just out there, just running around and shit because coach want me to and I'm going to do it. Okay, cool. But when you are factoring in the fact that you have to make adjustments late into a game, and if once again, there's a lot of things that have to go right for the Knicks to really be able to get over that hump when it comes to if they face a Boston Celtics team, because they got to have the health, they got to have the consistency, right? I think that we're at a time, at least Knicks fans are at a time where they're looking at it and they're like, okay, Jalen Brunson is the number one option on this team. No more Julius Randle number one option. We didn't see in that movie 2 times too many, right? So with Randle running the 2, OG at being the third option, however you want to look at it, with a Dante DiVincenzo who has been balling in the absence of these players,
McBride,
all has to go right for the Knicks team. So I'm hoping that they do well. Obviously, the Knicks have been in poverty for a very long time. So hopefully they do well, but we'll see.
Also,
go ahead.
Also, I want to say, yo, Bogey coming off the bench is fucking crazy.
It is.
Like, that's crazy.
The idea of Bogey coming off the bench is crazy, but since they got Bogey, he hasn't really been on shit. Unfortunately,
hey, I hear you. I hear you with that, but I'm not gonna lie. I still believe in it, and McBride is somebody that
he's been good,
stepped up on both sides of the ball, and it's phenomenal to see him come into form. Jalen Brunson scored 60 the other night. I don't think a lot of people know that.
I watched that game live. That was a crazy game. They had no answer for him,
bro.
And Wemby got 40 and 20.
Yo, and then through the game ball, he gonna be so good, man. Love that.
Oh man, I can't wait.
Yeah. All right, so let's see. We've covered Philly for the most part. I'll ask this question. So I think we talked about it a few episodes ago, maybe a couple weeks ago. Philly in terms of free agent moves, right? Say we go into the postseason and Philly flames out yet again. You have a Joel Embiid that'll be turning 31 next year. Right, still no conference finals appearance. Still, the team, or at least the front office, from what it seems, getting away from James Harden and really trying to fully develop Tyrese Maxey into their next big thing. Whatever. In terms of free agents this offseason, if you are the Philadelphia general manager, who are you trying to get? I know Hayes talked about DeMar DeRozan one time and how he thought that still wouldn't be enough. I agree with him. I'm not gonna lie. I think DeMar, if he ends up in Philadelphia somehow, some way. Paul George is another option as well. I think Paul George, honestly, that might be a better look. But in terms of if you're the general manager, what are you trying to do? What are you looking for in the offseason to pair alongside Joel and keep the process going for another 10 years?
They're looking for whatever they can hold on to. Like that's the problem with is that they have 3 players under contract next year. And if they strike, when I brought up DeMar, I meant in the sense that if they strike out on the Paul Georges, if they strike out on the other free agents, they're going to be sitting there left paying somebody the bag that they don't necessarily believe in and want. And maybe it still works, but I do think that there's a complete possibility in this that the Philadelphia 76ers is going to aim high, and they absolutely should aim as high as humanly possible. But I see this thing ending very ugly for the Philadelphia 76ers, bro.
Me too. I ain't gonna lie. I mean,
if I was them, I think you'd have to think about trading Embiid. I just don't see any guys they could maybe realistically get as a free agent. Even in a trade, I think to get someone really big, you'd have to give up Maxey, give up,
no, because they got money. They could absorb it. That's the thing. They have $122 million. So technically, they can absorb. Like, for example, I don't think they're going to go after Zach LaVine, but Zach LaVine's $45 million contract. They can absorb that and say, here, Bulls, take a heavily protected first in 3 seconds. There you go.
Hey, the Bulls will take that. That's great. I mean,
listen, right now we'll take a couple of Cheez-It crackers, bro. Just make sure they extra cheese.
I'm not mad at that Zach LaVine idea. That a couple for 1 or 2 first round picks, couple second round picks gets it done. You probably got to swing for that. If I don't know if OKC would do it, but if you think OKC would give up Chet for Embiid, that'd be interesting. If the OKC gets a window with Embiid maybe for a few years, I don't see OKC. I know OKC would be giving up a decade plus of Chet, but look, you're talking about win now. You get Embiid paired with SGA. You still got Jalen Williams, Gideon, all the fellas over there. You could be a favorite.
This offseason for Philly is going to end in DeMar DeRozan, Bruce Brown, and Mo Wagner, and they're just going to run it back.
I'm not mad at DeMar DeRozan joining Philly.
Nah, Joel. The Sixers and Joel Embiid are just in a bad spot, and there's not really too many answers for them to do other than just rely on the postseason to see who's going to be available or any trades. But even then,
they just announced Embiid's playing tonight.
Oh, I have that game on tonight. Let's go.
But even then, it's like if they sit here and believe in Embiid, other players is going to be like, all right, I come here. Why should I come here if the main guy's going to keep getting hurt, So it's like
that's a thing. Yeah.
They're just in a limbo phase right now where honestly what it is if we can make something happen, it can happen. But it looks like we're just going through the motions right now. And oh man, it's just sad. It's sad to see. Philadelphia, bro.
If I was Philly, I would draft Bronny just to get Braun for the cheap.
Oh my god.
Cheap is crazy.
You draft Bronny, Braun's gonna show up.
He fucking sucks, man. Move on.
He sucks.
That's crazy. He just
Bronny is trash, bro.
Hold on. Yeah, boy. You draft Bronny to get Braun.
I understand.
He's old at
bro.
You drive a
41-year-old LeBron and his trash ass.
If that's what the Philadelphia 76ers have to show Joel Embiid, he should ask for a trade that day.
Bro, I need you to understand something. If your front office is making moves at a chance of getting LeBron, that shows you how cooked their decision making is. If they legitimately try to draft Bronny in a way to get LeBron, which never committed, which we know is a habitual lie. He'd be just saying shit, and that's fine. He'd be saying shit. And you're going to really draft a player to chase a dream? LeBron that's a terrible organization if they make a move like this.
Honestly, Gifted, I kind of agree with you on that because it's like if you mean to tell me that if you mean to tell me that we in the front office and somebody says to me, hey, look, I know that we don't have a general sense of direction. However, LeBron did say that whoever drafted his son, we could get LeBron. I would look him dead in his face and say, how old is LeBron? They'd be like, it don't matter. It's LeBron and his son and maybe Joel Embiid. That is a terrible direction moving forward.
So stupid.
If anything, personally, I feel like LeBron is going to somehow, some way end up back in Cleveland for his last season or whatever, maybe 2, whatever. whenever he decides to hang up the boots, he's gonna find a way back to Cleveland because with LeBron, it's all about he's trying to finish the story like Cody Rhodes, but it's all about a story for LeBron at the end of the day. So him saying, "Hey, look, if my son gets drafted, that's my dream. I want to play with them." Great, cool. But if you are a front office and you are looking at that as if that is going to somehow, some way increase your probability or your odds of winning a championship by landing a 41-year-old LeBron and his terrible son, no, bro, you're cooked. As an organization, you're cooked. You're just doing this shit just because you want like Rihanna sit courtside or some shit.
Just wait till OKC drafts Bronny with one of their 10 draft picks. They're gonna get Bron at the minimum. Come on,
imagine. Imagine. All right, so we're kind of nearing towards the end of the show. We got a little bit of time left. We've pretty much covered a lot of everything that we wanted to cover. The last thing that I have on my list of topics is actually conveniently in the Western Conference. The question, I wish Big Ox was here, but the question is, are the Kings cooked? Let me ask all that question, because you think about the Kings last year, right? The basketball gods themselves blessed them with the best season that they've had in 17 plus years, right? They get a high seed. They go into a matchup with the Warriors. Steph Curry suns them niggas, of course, because of course he would. It is what it is. So you're looking at this team this year, right? They just lost Kevin Huerter for the rest of the season, just lost Malik Monk as well. And it's all up to De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis and Harrison Barnes. I feel like the Kings are genuinely cooked. I feel like the Kings are going to continuously trickle down in the standings, and another team could rise up. The Lakers look pretty good in the last couple of weeks. The Phoenix Suns just beat the damn the Pelicans last night with Debo dropping 50 again on them niggas. That's crazy. So I feel like
every game. He does that every game. Ever since that Zion dunk, he's like, screw them.
Ever since that Zion dunk. Phew. But let me ask y'all think the Kings are cooked, or you think that De'Aaron Fox got a little bit more fight left in the tank?
I think they'll make the play-in. I don't think they're going to miss the playoffs. They'll definitely make the play-in still. I still think Fox, Sabonis, still have faith in Keegan Murray. Harrison Barnes is a solid vet, but I think Keegan Murray definitely stepped up last game against Utah. He did. Gave him a nice little 25 piece. Again, sure, the injuries. I don't even necessarily blame the Kings for kind of coming back down to earth from last season. I just think the other teams got better and teams are just playing well. The West is so good. Kings are still a good team. It's just such a stacked conference that, a few games changes everything. So I still believe in Fox. He's clutch player of the year last year for a reason. Sabonis still, incredible at some of the things he does, even though he has his weaknesses. So they'll still make the play in, but I don't expect them to make any noise in the playoffs.
I felt it.
I never believed in the King. I never believed in the Kings. I didn't believe in them last year. I don't believe in them this year. Yeah, I just think the Kings are just an extremely flawed team, mainly because of what their second best or best player determined. It matters of who you're talking to. Sabonis. So there we go.
Yeah, Kings are cooked. Coming into the regular season, I thought that they would be a team that could have home court's advantage because of their younger talent and their athleticism. That was not the case. Losing Malik Monk is, I think, too much, on top of having no Kevin Huerter as well. I think they're kind of done. I think that they can make the playoffs through the play-in and make it to the playoffs, but I think it's going to be hard for them to have that same appeal when you lose a scorer and playmaker to the level of a Malik Monk, who is just making their team so much better. I mean, even in the playoffs last year versus Golden State, what Malik Monk was doing with Fox was the difference maker in why that series went 7 games. If you're telling me that they go into the playoffs where their most dangerous scorer is Fox, and then after that, you have either Sabonis and then you might have Harrison Barnes. I lied. He's trash.
Trash.
Who do they have? Like, I don't think that they have enough. Keegan Murray's good, but he's not aggressive enough consistently. And they still don't have a great team defense. I think overall, they just don't have enough to really get over to the place where they want it to be, which I think is at least in the second round. I think they're done.
Listen. The Kings are gonna have some fun games, and De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis going to get some more postseason experience. But if we're talking about are they cooked as far as accomplishing anything, yeah, they're cooked. There's nothing's coming other than some fun games. That's it, and some experience, and they need that still to a degree, right? But ultimately, I think that the Kings were a team that I had high hopes for coming into the season. And they, in some ways, have gone beyond that. But with the injuries and the shortcomings that they have, they're a team that there's 8 games left they have left to play. They're going to make the play-in. Their magic number to make the play-in is 2. They need either 2 wins or a combination of 2 losses by Houston to get it. But it's not nothing. No type of postseason success is coming for them at all. So
I will say this too. Oh, Dub left? Damn. All right. I will say this too. Hayes just brought up the Rockets. Torrey Eason, how are you feeling, my brother? How does it feel to talk shit and then A, not be able to be available to back it up, and then B, the Warriors just keep on doing their little thing, looking like Draymond said, we ain't worried about the Rockets. We're not. Sorry. Jalen Green, great. All that shit was great. 11 straight wins. All that shit was great. Luka Doncic literally got my MVP vote from whooping their ass the other night. That was great. That was phenomenal. I'm not
gonna lie. That one shot he made where he just threw this shit up like this and then made him like, all right, bro.
Like
okay.
All right, bro. I would have if I was I would have been like, all right, bro, you got
just do it up like that, yeah.
Just do whatever. All right, so we lost Dub, we lost Hayes. For anybody that's still here rocking with us, thank you. I will like to say as a disclaimer, y'all see that little banner down there. It says 11 a.m. Eastern. That's cap. That's cap as hell.
Yeah, banner's cooked. Yeah,
banner's cooked for sure. Tuesdays, Thursdays, Sundays. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, we're coming at you at 6 p.m. to 7:30, and on Sundays, we're coming at you from 1 to 3 or 2:30. One of the two. Doesn't matter. Just be there on time. Last thing I want to talk about, last thing I want to discuss before we head out of here is honestly gonna be up to y'all. Do y'all have anything? Any takes y'all have seen recently that you feel like, okay, I need to get on something and address it, because why did I just see this? We already talked about the Tatum and Luka debate earlier. We talked about Joel Embiid and his injuries and what makes a superstar, yada yada yada. Y'all got anything that's just pissed y'all off this week from what y'all saw somebody say?
I got something that's interesting, food for thought. Do you think the Grizzlies next year will be a top 3 seed?
Top 3 is that's strong. See, Ja Morant's back. Definitely Bane. Hopefully they're fully healthy. So Ja Morant, Bane, Jaren Jackson Jr., Steven Adams coming off of his.
No, Adams got traded. He got traded.
He got traded. So they'll probably got to bring in another center. Gigi Jackson probably gonna be on the team. I mean, a couple young guys that stepped up for him when all these guys were hurt. Top 3 seed is tough. I think OKC is going to be, the top 3 for sure. Denver again, probably going to be in the top 3 for sure. That third team, I think Clippers still expect to be good. Oh man,
tough West.
Yeah, tough West. Three is strong. Like Dallas is going to be good. Pelicans, I think, are going to be good too. So I mean, it's tough West. Could they be in the playoffs for sure? 3, I bet the under on that seed.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, for me, it's honestly, like you said, it was great food for thought. But I'm very interested. I don't think they're going to be top 3 seed, but I'm very interested to see Ja Morant starting off the year, not being suspended for gun violence or whatever. But not gun violence.
That would be great.
Yeah. I would love to see Ja Morant be able to start off the season with this Memphis team, because how you start off a season, and if you were able to build some momentum from your start, that can be a really good testament into how the team plays out for the rest of the year. Think back to when the Warriors started off 18-2 when they won a championship the last time, right? You looked at that team and you were like, okay, the confidence is there, the pieces are there. Only thing they were missing was Klay Thompson. They were just waiting on Klay, but everybody else was P's and Q's hitting every single thing, crossing every T and dotting every I. So when I think about this Memphis team, they lost out on Steven Adams, right? They had, and what Green just said is the first thing that popped into my head when you asked, because they did go on a little winning streak when Ja got back. They were terrible before Ja got back this year for the little small sample size that he played, right? The Grizzlies were terrible. And then in 3 to 4 games, Ja comes back and is able to change the entire way that we're looking at this team. You can see the youth and the joy and all of that coming out from players like Desmond Bane and Jaren Jackson. I love Taylor Jenkins as a coach as well. So I think that if you give them a healthy shot, I don't see them being a play-in team. I can see them in that 4 or 6 range, but top 3 is going to be tough because I'm thinking about Denver, obviously. OKC is going to only get better from here. The Minnesota Timberwolves, another team where I'm like, okay, Next season, Ant's gonna only get better. Cat is, I guess, play the same. He played the same way for the last 7 years, but whatever. So
I wouldn't say that. All I'm gonna say,
Cat, I don't remember the last time Karl Anthony Towns did something besides the All-Star game, where I was like, "Yo, okay, Cat." Besides him winning the 3-point contest too, the other year, but like his numbers, when you look at him just objectively, you're just like, okay. The progression to me seems like you're around a 24 to 25 a game type of guy, which is cool. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. On top of the fact that Anthony Edwards is slowly becoming the number one option on this team more and more. So Cat's going to obviously play second fiddle. But like I said, that doesn't impact the Minnesota Timberwolves at all because I think they're still going to be a top seed in the Western Conference next year. I think they're just building upon this year. You got a number one defense that's been number one for how long this season? Hasn't
pretty much the whole year.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like the defensive side of the ball, you're straight, and on the offensive side of the ball, you got Ant, you got Cat, you'll be all right, you know. So, but for Memphis, I think that they just have a lot more that they have to really deal with and assess in comparison to other teams that I think are probably going to be in that top 3 range next year. So 4 or 5, 6 range is what I'm feeling for Memphis next year. Not playing.
Memphis is an interesting team because what made them so dominant is their defense was like the best defense in the league with JJJ. Ja Morant was super electrifying as an offensive player. And to be fair, once Ja came back, they literally, won multiple games back to back to back until he got hurt again. I feel like with Desmond Bane being healthy and Ja back, they'll be a better team. But losing Steven Adams is still a big loss to their front court defense. Mm-hmm. But I'm also thinking about the players that they have now who look good, how they'll translate with a fully healthy Grizzlies team. I think now G.G. Jackson off their bench next year could be very, very impactful for this new Grizzlies team. Top 3 to me is kind of, rough because – as good as they are, just banking them top 3 without seeing the moves that they're making, I'm not sure how confident I am in that, but it's still early. We have to see what all these teams do. Cat might not even be on this Wolves team next season. We don't know what happens, right? So I would say evaluating the landscape after some more ball is played is probably good to say. But top 3, I can see it, but I don't know if I would bank on that.
Man, Brandon, tell me what he hasn't done in his 3 years or his 3 postseason runs. Averaging over 27 a game, shooting it better than 45% from the field, shooting it better than 35% from 3 for somebody that's not a shooter, like you just pointed out a few comments ago. Yeah. Ja Morant, in a small sample size, is a pretty damn good postseason performer from what we've seen. I mean, the teams that he's lost to, the Golden State Warriors, eventual champion, 2021 eliminated them from the play-in after having a marvelous game in that play-in game. Mm-hmm. Like, bro, stop. Lakers. Ja is one of them ones in the postseason. There's no argument there. Now he has to do more in terms of winning, I guess. Cool. But Ja Morant, the individual, pretty solid postseason performer in his first 3 appearances of his career. So stop the cap and get up and stop. Stop. Get on my damn nerves, Brandon. Keep playing with
my take. I got a college basketball take that people have been saying I think is nuts. I think Edey is just he's a guy who's going to be great in college, but I don't think his game translates to the NBA. I think the game's going to be way too fast for him. And people will quickly match up, look at Jokic, look at Luka. Edey is not Luka or Jokic. He's not them. Mm-hmm. And Luka's still a lot faster than Edey too. I think he's going to be way too slow-footed. Yes, he's huge. He's 7'4", I believe it is.
Over 7 foot.
Yeah, over 7 foot for sure. I just don't see his game translate to the NBA. Way too slow-footed. I don't see his post moves. Her post moves are just too, I want to say one maybe too predictable, just too slow too. At least with Jokic, he's able to kind of use his body in a way, but Edey just using his length and his height on NBA. I don't think that obviously guys are just bigger. They're going to be taller too. It's just not going to work in the NBA. So I think he's projected to go in the lottery. He's getting more and more hype. I mean, if he wins in the Final Four and makes the national championship, it's going to be even more hype. But yeah, to me, he's a very overrated prospect in terms of how his game's going to translate to the NBA.
So who's better, Edey or DJ Burns?
I mean, Burns is a nice little story. I don't think he's going to translate to the NBA either. There's just so many guys, like we've seen it before in college. Too, right?
Burns, I don't think will translate either.
let me tell y'all a personal story about me and DJ Burns. All right. Let me tell y'all, right. So a couple years ago, Longwood is the college that I went to. Longwood made won the Big South tournament, made the NCAA tournament for the first time in the school's history, right? So we're at the Big South tournament in Charlotte. DJ had already played Longwood, I think, twice that year. This is when he was at Winthrop before he transferred to NC State. And in the games that he played Longwood, we had this building called Willett Hall, right? And so we would always pack the hall because it was a small building. So like when you play there, you feel the condensed, like you feel just like a lot of people screaming at you. You know what I'm saying? So they have this thing that they do every home game because Longwood is sponsored by Papa John's. So the cheerleader would bring out a Papa John's, a box of pizza. And they would hold it up to the crowd and be like, who wants to win the free pizza, whatever. So we in the student section, DJ's playing us, obviously. So somebody in the student section yells out, DJ's hungry. I kid y'all not, had the whole crowd chanting DJ's hungry when they brought out the Papa John's box. DJ went out there, did his thing, they lost. Then we see him again a couple months later at the Big South tournament, and they were about to play Longwood again. Me and my boys were sitting at the top of they called it the Bojangles Coliseum, but we're sitting at the top of it watching the previous game between the two college teams. DJ walks past us and he looks at us and he remembers us, and we're like, hey, you know what's about to happen, right? You know you're about to lose, right? DJ looked us dead in our face and was like, y'all know what y'all ass, right? Goes out there, has his worst game of the season, and they lose. And then he transfers to NC State, and now 2 years later, Cinderella run for DJ Burns. So all love to DJ, because I'm gonna be honest with you, for a guy that size to have that good of footwork and be left-handed, bro, I got to give him his props. I definitely want to give him his props because again, he played extremely well from what I saw. But my problem is like, okay, well, what are you in the NBA? You're not a 5 because you're too small to be a 5. Your rebounding is okay, but it's like, are you going to be guarding like that in pick and rolls defensively? Like, how quick are you on your feet? Can you like really shoot the ball from 3 like that? Can you be a power forward that can stretch? Are you like a help side rim protector? Like, I don't know what his exact role in the NBA would be. Also, I kind of feel like his biggest strength would be like his post game, and I feel like there's not that many NBA teams that are letting young players do that if they're not like the number one option of your team. And I don't think he's fast enough. I think it would be different if he had more speed like Zion maybe, but I don't really see that in his game like that. You know, but he's pretty good though.
We've seen players like him before. Sean May back in the day for North Carolina, similar build. He's a guy that we knew would have transited to the NBA. Fab Melo, a guy I think will probably going back a decade. He was a guy that everyone kind of understood great in college, wasn't going to translate to the NBA. We've just consistently seen guys, that we know that works in college, not going to win the NBA. Great story, but yeah. I mean, he did say NFL scouts are looking at him. But
which honestly, I feel like he could take that route, and he might have a little bit more success there because you know what his role is going to be in the NFL compared to the NBA. But the fact that Big Yoke gave him his props, like if I was DJ and I'm getting props from a 2-time MVP, reigning Finals MVP, that's going to boost my confidence for sure. But I see what you're saying, Gifted, in terms of what will you be in the league, like Zach Edey, for example. With him, I'm like, yo. Are you gonna be Ivica Zubac? Are you gonna what are you gonna be here? Mason Plumlee? Like what are we doing? Because with a player like him, it's like I can see why people are saying, oh, he's overrated, but that's not to say that he doesn't have a spot on a team to fulfill a role
like 8th man, 10th man on the bench.
Like I'm not jocking it for like franchise player number 3-4 option. No, I'm not joking.
He's a taller Frank Kaminsky to me, a little bigger too.
Taller Frank.
Frank Kaminsky in college was great footwork, giving him
Frank.
Led Wisconsin to the Final Four, doing his thing. Went to the finals and they lost to Duke. Yeah, but to me, you kind of knew Frank Kaminsky wasn't going to be a star in the NBA. You know what I mean? Like he just wasn't going to be a star. Maybe a rotational piece for a couple of years, and he's still in the league. Frank Kaminsky.
Who drafted Frank Kaminsky? Was it the
Hornets?
Yeah, what was it? The Hornets?
I believe it was the Hornets.
Last team I remember he was on was the Phoenix Suns. I think he got traded.
I wonder if he's still in the league. But yeah, just one of those guys again. Great in college.
Shout out Frank Kaminsky, bro. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, you have tuned into, I don't even know what episode we're on. Maybe 12.
Maybe 12.
Yeah, but this has been great. This is the first time in a long time that we've had all 5 here. I think for the show. So that's great. This has been From the Logo. I am your host, ZZ Huncho, on every Tuesday. That is your boy Gifted Hoops. That is your boy Jalen Carter, aka R&B star Jalen Carter.
We're working.
We are From the Logo, and you have tuned into another phenomenal episode, Players' Choice's Best Kept Secret. Y'all got any final thoughts? Y'all want to get to the people?
Joel Embiid's game, definitely going to be watching it on the next EP. We will be discussing that most likely. So there's that.
Yep.
Playback tonight. I'm going to be on playback with JD. Dallas versus Sacramento tonight? Or no, not that. Dallas versus the Golden State tonight. Should be a good game.
Yep.
So come tune in. 10 p.m. Eastern. Playback beater.
Golden State versus the Mavericks. This is going to be
a testament.
This is going to be a testament to how good both teams have been in the last couple weeks. We're going to see. But there was 69 viewers in here at one point a second ago. Nice. But that's it. We're going to wrap it up. Y'all know where to find me and my socials, Gifted socials, Jalen's socials in the description below. And we'll tap back in with y'all on Thursday. Always remember, if Diddy want to party, you got to tell him no. All right? Now we're going to lock up out of here. Peace.
Peace.
Deuces.
Take it easy.